All right, welcome to this afternoon's edition of Maverick Multisport TV. We're here with Jeremy Brown from BSX Athletics. They make the BSX Insight. We're going to be running 2 lactate threshold tests this afternoon, one on the treadmill with Molly Ruhi, professional triathlete for Maverick Multisport, and also we're going to be doing one with Justin Messler, professional triathlete with Maverick Multisport. So right now, he's starting them on the first. Starting them on their first test. Typically, the test takes about 28 to 30 minutes. The ramp up is every 3 minutes, correct, Jeremy? Every 3 minutes, yeah. So we got 28, 30 minutes to fill. So we'll kind of, over the next half hour, we'll kind of talk to you a little bit about the device. Until the athletes really start suffering, we'll kind of speak with them too and get a little bit of feedback on using the device, and we'll talk to Justin a little bit. He just actually finished up a bike fit with John Cobb from Cobb Cycling and got his Q rings dialed in on a spin scan with Christy O'Hara from Rotor Bike Components, who's in town for our camp as well. So we're on the first test. So it's a slow build. Obviously, it looks really easy right now for the athletes, but once we get 15, 20 minutes into the test, they'll hit their lactate threshold, and then they'll be going above lactate threshold, and they'll just kind of be holding on as they really start to suffer. So just a little bit about BSX Athletics. They're based out of Houston, Texas. Their website is BSX Insight. .com for their new multi-sport device that we're using today. They also make a cycling-specific device, and they also make a run-specific device. But for our purposes today, we're using the multi-sport device. It's actually very groundbreaking technology because up to this point, if you wanted to do a lactate threshold test, really the only option you had was to go to a human performance lab and do a blood draw under the supervision of medical personnel. This you actually get to, you can actually do it in the comfort of your own home. Syncs up to either an Android or an iOS device, along with your power meter, your heart rate monitor. So it's really user-friendly. We've already taken one of our athletes, Jillian Peterson, through a lactate threshold test this morning on the bike. Takes you through the entire test protocol. So where are we right now? Are you? I guess we're off and running. It looks good. That's a good sign. When you're slapping high fives, you're living the dream. That's right. Yeah, I'm feeling the flow. Right. Check back in about 15, 20 minutes. We'll get to see. We may get to see what Molly had for lunch. Yeah. How you feeling? Molly's like, this lactate threshold test is so easy. I'm feeling the flow. Feeling good. So we're expecting a few phone calls. We had some tweets most recently. Let's see if anybody's got any questions for us so far. The real Starkey, who we're pretty good friends with, he asked if we were going to be taking some live online phone calls. So the answer is yes. TRS, if you want to call in or shoot us a tweet with your question, feel free to do so. During this, make sure you're always following Maverick Multisport. It's at Mav Multi on Twitter, or it's facebook.com/Maverick Multisport, or you can go to maverickmultisport.com. And then if you want to get more information on the BSX Insight through BSX Athletics, their Twitter handle is at BSX Athletics, or you can go to the BSX Insight or bsxathletics.com websites for more info. So great guys, amazing device, really groundbreaking technology. So real excited to be using this. It's going to get hot in here, so we're cracking the door. We're actually up on the second floor here at VO2 Multisport in Louisville, Kentucky, in their studio. So we want to thank VO2 Multisport for hosting us, letting us set up shop here today. How you feeling now? Feeling good.
She's going berserk, all the exercise she's doing.
Give us a little bit of feedback as far as now that you're into the test. How is it kind of on the setup process from a usability standpoint?
So it's pretty user friendly. There's a countdown clock, so I know exactly when I need to bump it up to the next level.
Yeah.
So I sort of see it coming, which is really nice. And you have a choice between looking at pace or speed. So depending on what kind of treadmill you're using, also really nice.
Right. Okay. So it looks like she is the treadmill synced up right now with the device and everything? Are you 6 minutes into the test? 6:19, roughly.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Give or take. Okay. Perfect. Now, the great thing about doing a lactate threshold test, for those that aren't familiar with an LT test, it's a lot more accurate than just going off of heart rate. It actually measures precisely when you start to produce lactate, and you're producing more lactate than your body can actually get rid of. So you can really target your training zones a lot more specifically. We're going to jump over here, talk to Justin for a minute, see how he's doing as we get close to going through the first 10 minutes. So, how are things progressing over here for you, Justin?
Good. They're in the early stages now. I'm assuming it'll get a lot harder soon. Yeah. Real quick.
Yeah. What'd you eat for lunch?
I had a bunch of vegetables. By the time I got around to it, there wasn't much left. But they had a veggie tray over there. Picked through that. And
yeah. Did you chew those well? Will those come up easily?
I don't know. I'm pretty good on the veggie front. That's
all right.
Yeah. So I don't know. We'll see. I'm a decent chewer, so we'll see.
All right. So we've got yours. Actually, it looks like it's synced up. Are you synced up to an Android device right now?
Yeah, I am.
Okay. Yep. All right. So like we said, you can sync it up to an Android, sync it up to an iOS device. It pairs with an A&T heart rate monitor. Let's talk to Jeremy Brown, see if he might be able to, before they really start getting into the test, and he's a little bit more obligated, if we can get some feedback from Jeremy. So Jeremy.
I'm just lecturing her for doing a 4-hour training ride yesterday. Oxygenation levels are pretty low. So.
Are they?
Yeah.
She's a little rough. Yeah. Yeah. We mean that in the best way. I mean, like, rough in a good way. So, yeah. So, I mean, you're the best-looking rough person. So, Jeremy, first I want to thank you for coming up and joining us. Coming up from Houston, Texas, to be with us. So, give us a little bit of background on the device, how it was developed.
So the device comes from, we have two founders, Nathan and Dustin. Dustin came up with this idea back when he was in med school, and basically he realized as an endurance athlete that there's much more to the body that we can learn about that we don't already know. And so he kind of developed it and started working into it, and has found out that there is a very strong correlation between relative oxygenation and lactate threshold. And so, about 750 tests that we've done shows that theory that we had initially is true. And that's where our device comes in, is that it's measuring. I got to bump him up.
Okay. He's got to attend to the athletes. Okay, we want to make sure they get their fair suffering in.
Get their money's worth. So.
Yeah. We don't want to neglect them.
No. So, this is an easier way You don't have to go to a lab now to get this kind of insight into your own body, where it used to be you'd have to go to a lab. It's like $150 every 6 to 8 weeks.
Right.
I've still got the damage from my test
right.
the other day.
Oh, okay.
So that's not a lot of fun.
Do you get workers' comp for that?
I don't. I actually have to do this for work. So
That's in your contract. You will be abused. Yeah.
you must test, you must bleed, and so that's where this comes from, because the pricks, they're not good. Right. They're not fun. And you got any athlete that's had it done before, it's not something you really look forward to. Right. And so our device puts that technology and that insight into your body at your fingertips. So,
no, I think it's really groundbreaking technology. We're excited to be working with you guys. We had the opportunity to meet Brian and Dustin out at Interbike and got to see it tested out there, and we were really impressed with it. It's kind of like having the first Garmin or the first iPhone. It's really above and beyond what anybody else is doing. So,
yeah, it definitely is. It's revolutionary. I mean, it's something that went from an idea to something now we actually have it in hand. I mean, we'll be shipping our first devices here very soon, and so it's exciting to know that 3.5, almost 4 years ago, that this was just an idea, something cool. And it was ahead of its time before it was ever ahead of its time. And so now it's still ahead of its time, and it definitely gives access to athletes of every caliber, every skill set, every background, to know a little bit more and to get a little bit more out of their training on how they're taking their lactate threshold and building training plans off of it, so that every workout really counts. It's not just going to run. It's I'm running for purpose X. Well, is it an easy run? Well, what is an easy run? Well, this device will let you know what easy is, but what hard is.
Sure. No, that's great. And the beauty of it is you can do it in the comfort of your own home. You don't have to schedule an appointment. You can just say, okay, it's 6 weeks, 8 weeks into my block. Coach wants me to do another retest.
Yeah, it's time to suffer. Every 6 to 8 weeks, it's time to suffer a little bit. And generally speaking, your LT levels will stay about where they're at for about 6 to 8 weeks. So your training zones will be good for about 6 to 8 weeks. You'll test again, and then that lets you know, is what I'm doing really working? Is it not working? So it's a true thermometer into are you truly progressing, biologically, or not physiologically? Are you truly progressing, or are you just kind of going through the motions and not really gaining fitness? And it's really cool, and we're excited to track, to be partnering with you guys and kind of track all 6 of your athletes' progress this year, because you can truly train your LT. You can truly get more fit throughout the year.
I think he's starting to sweat pretty good over here, and I think he said he needs to go harder. Bump him up.
So
one more level.
It'll be exciting to see how your athletes progress through the year as they head toward their goals of Worlds or Kona or whatever their goals are, and to see how they are in January. Everybody comes in here and they say, I'm fat, I'm out of shape, I'm this, I'm that, and so we get the raw data, and then we see in 3 months after consistent training, where are they at? How do their bodies develop? How are they reacting to a training load? And then from there, you can really, truly garner how you can train better and be, stronger, smarter, faster, jump higher, all that Michael Jordan stuff.
Right. So outside of just testing the lactate levels, tell us about the oxygenation testing as well.
Yeah, so and that's actually what our device is giving the feedback on is oxygenation. And with the oxygenation, the beauty of it is that nobody really understands a lot about it. We feel that it's where lactate threshold testing was 30 years ago, when they used to like, oh wow, we can look at this metric and know X about our body. And so with oxygenation, this is something that you could develop training protocols off of. You could develop methodologies, and I think it really could possibly rewrite the way that we train our bodies to be better athletes.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So Justin is how far into the test are you now, Justin?
13 minutes.
13 and a half minutes, it looks like, on his head unit there. So
how's the suffering? Is the suffering real?
Not too bad yet. Getting the sweat going, getting warmed up. Starting to feel good.
Where's Michael? We need a sweat rate test on this guy.
Right. If you want to pan around for a minute, you can kind of see we've had John Cobb here. He got all of the bikes fit earlier today, and so we got Justin dialed in earlier this morning. Got his Q rings dialed in. If you want to come over here and take a look at his look at is the machine he's riding today. These are the 2015 Argon 18 E118 Next team bikes with Shimano Di2. Riding rotor Q-rings, Cobb cycling saddles.
Struggle is real. Not quite yet.
So I think Molly's starting to get warmed up. How are you starting to feel, Molly?
Yeah, it feels great. I'm rocking this 7.3 miles per hour, low 130s. Feeling good.
Molly's got fond memories of Louisville. Last time she was in Louisville, she took fourth here at Ironman Louisville in August of 2014. So now she's back. She's back suffering again in Louisville, Kentucky.
Some
Yeah.
more ugly.
That's right.
Back in Louisville for some more hurting. That's what I'm looking for.
So I'm going to check and see. If we've got any tweets coming across here. Any questions? Okay. We've got. Well, first they want to compliment how awesome your shirt is.
Is it the shirt or the bottom?
It's the yeah. Hashtag stop the pricks. So yeah,
Absolutely.
talk to us a little bit about that. How that came about.
Well, it's kind of funny. People look at it, and matter of fact, my mom was sitting in the truck a little while ago, and I walk out there, and she's on the phone and doesn't see me, and she's like, "Look, that guy's wearing a shirt that says Stop the Pricks." That's funny. Then she realizes it's her son. So it's everybody can relate to that in one form or another. You can take it in one context or another, but truly, that's kind of our mission and our goal is to stop the need to go and get all these blood tests done. All this pricks done. Again, it's expensive. It's $150 every 6 to 8 weeks. It's not really easily accessible. You got to go to a lab somewhere. You got to take time out of your day, time out of your training. You have to rest 24 to 48 hours, at least 24 hours, if not 48 hours before, or you're wasting your money. Right. And so, with this, again, like you said, you can take Saturday off or take Monday off of a hard weekend and test late Tuesday night at your house while you're watching the Survivor finale, right, or whatever it ends up being. And so, it really truly puts the technology and the knowledge of what your body's doing at your fingertips without the need for being stuck.
Absolutely. So as you can see with the device, it's mounted in a compression sleeve there on the athlete's calf, and it's mounted in that compression sleeve is the device, which is about 2.5, 3 inches tall, about a half an inch thick. So it's relatively, it's extremely light. It's got how many? 3 LED lights on the back of it?
6.
6 LED. Okay, 6 LED. That's why I've got the expert with me here. So if I said this looks like fun, I want to suffer like these guys are suffering, what would I need to do?
So obviously you need a bike or a treadmill, but you just go to bsxinsight.com. We're doing pre-orders right now. They're available. We have a running version, a cycling version, and a multisport version. We submitted our app to the App Store. It'll be available here very, very soon as well. So that process is, we've been seeing the light at the end of the tunnel for a while, and now we're actually at or near the end of the tunnel to actually experience that light. So it's really exciting. We got a bunch of pre-orders. We got to give him some more. Got to give him some more love.
All right, ramp it up.
300 watts.
Another level. Okay, he's at 300 watts. Nice.
He said he got this all day.
Oh. Yeah, for 3 minutes all day, that's close enough.
I think the struggle is becoming real, though.
Now before they start this test, what type of data goes into like getting it set up? Height, weight, age, what?
Great question. So you set up a profile, and you'll have your own independent dashboard. So over time, your metrics will be there, and you can watch over time how you are progressing. But so for each individual test, you'll need to either give your 10K time, your conversational pace, an easy spin with buddies, a coffee shop ride, a morning jog, whatever. Right. And then you'll give your 10K pace if you're running, or estimated 10K pace, or your estimated 40K time. And so what it's going to do is it's going to compute that and say, okay, we think your fitness is here. It also takes into consideration basically how long you've been doing it, consistent months of training, how many days a week do you train, and how many miles are you running recently or cycling, either or. So it takes all of those and puts them into a formula and says, okay, this is your athlete profile, this is who you are, this is what you're capable of. We think you should start here, and we're guessing initially that you're going to hit threshold about here, but we've allowed 2 or 3 more zones after that.
Sure.
And so you'll hop on, you'll hit start, off you go. You'll do an easiest warm-up set. You can also integrate your own warm-up just after that one. That's our one to get kind of a baseline of data, that first set. And then you can do a warm-up that's built into it if you want. And then you'll start. It'll start you right on.
Yeah, can we kind of zoom in on the screen there?
So this
Our lovely camera woman.
So you can see his heart rate is 154. This is relative oxygenation, 89%. This is his target. His target wattage is here. So he's targeted at 300. We're using a CompuTrainer, so we're kind of controlling that to an extent, but the athlete still has to maintain. And then this is time left in the stage. And so as this goes on, and he gets down to about 10 seconds, this little drop down will come down, and it's going to say, you know, next level or next stage in 10 seconds. And then you just bump it up. Same thing with the running interface, and I'll show it to you.
Okay, he's going to show us the running interface.
This is the running interface.
So this is on an iOS device here.
Correct. And so it's the way it's set up here, same thing, heart rate, and then you have oxygenation. You can tell it at 78%. I asked her before, when she got started, she was in the low 80s, upper 70s, and I know what that means. That means she probably did a hard workout yesterday. And she said, yeah.
Bingo. Molly rolled in about 1 a.m. and then was down on the trainer at about 5:30. I'll vouch for that.
So the thing is, you know, she did a 4-hour bike ride, and you look at this. This is a true look at her body. This is a true look to tell she's fatigued, which is great insight into where your body's at and how you're developing. Again, here's your time up top, and then 320. All right, and so you come here, and then you've got, so some treadmills will display pace, some will display just miles per hour, but for this one, we've got it set on speed, so she's currently running at 8 miles an hour. In 50 seconds, it's going to prompt her to bump up, and then it's going to tell her where she needs to bump up to, how many miles per hour. And you just go until you can't go anymore. Once you get to the point where you can't complete another 3-minute stage, you'll very simply hit the lock button, hit stop. It's going to say, do you want to save it? Of course I want to save it. I didn't just suffer for no reason. So you save it, and then it's going to spit out. It will give you, and I'll show you when we're done, it'll spit out estimated, whether it's pace, if it's a run, or if it's power, your estimated threshold. And then it's going to give you, busted out 7 training zones based off of that number. Okay. And again, those will be good for 6 to 8 weeks.
So I don't have to get out my calculator?
You don't need your abacus.
No math? Okay.
No abacus,
right.
No calculator. You just go at it with what those zones are. Okay. So.
All right. Wow. Okay, well, so where are we now?
We're deep.
Wow, we're 22 plus in. So typically the test lasts how long?
Well, it needs to be over 20 minutes for it to be a good test. So, you know, don't put in there that you can hold 310 watts and you can really only hold 210, because we'll know quickly and it won't count as a test. And you don't want to do this test more often than you have to. So it's going to last about 30 to 35 minutes, depending on how accurate the data was the athlete put in. So.
Okay, fair enough. Can you upload, so when you have this data, where do you upload it to? Say, okay, I've got this data, I've got it saved, what do I upload it to, how do I upload it?
Okay. So the data, once you save it, it's going to be stored on your app, but also it's going to upload to the server at bsinsight.com. You'll go in there, log in, you'll have a full entire platform you can look at. You can look at your data, you can then export it as a CSV, then you can overlay that, or your coach can overlay that with your heart rate, with your power output on any other platforms. You can dump it anywhere else you want, and it can be overlaid. Okay. Also, to go along with this, we have our training platform is Train BSX. We're still developing it, but essentially in the end, you can drop it into there seamlessly. Okay. So you can have all your metrics in one place, you know, without having to click through here and go upload here and move this here. So that's kind of the vision for it.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, so much for that nice new Argon bike being clean. The first sweat, there it goes. That's right. Got it fit. Dump some sweat on it. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. She's perspiring. She's glowing.
25 minutes in.
That's right.
We're 8.5 miles an hour.
How's the device from a comfort standpoint?
Oh, can't even feel it.
Yeah. Can't even feel it. Okay. All right.
Looks great though. You can't feel it, but it's there. And so also, you asked a minute ago, and we get the question a lot is, well, I buy this device, I take a test with it, and it just sits on a shelf for 6 to 8 weeks.
Right.
No, it's not right. It's inaccurate. And the reason being is because right now we're developing the daily use case for it. So the daily use case is you can wear it on your rides and runs every single day, and it's going to track.
Really? Okay.
Just like we saw in her oxygenation was low, she's down in the 70s.
Yeah.
So let's say we tracked her for the next week and we calculated that data, and all of a sudden you've got daily feedback of what your actual body oxygenation levels are doing. Are you recovering? Is that recovery ride really a recovery ride? Well, the next day you're still tired because your levels are X. Your levels are wherever here, or oh man, I'm up in the 90s on this workout. Like my body is healed. I'm good.
So what's the range on that?
That's a great question, and I honestly don't have the answer for that. I've seen it down into the 70s. Obviously, she's upper 70s. I think earlier with Jillian, she was in the 90s most of the time, low 90s. So her body is pretty fresh. Yeah. Whereas Molly's body is pretty worn out. It's pretty beat up right now.
I believe the word for today is rough.
Rough.
Little rough.
Really rough right now.
The body's a little rough. It's a little rough. So yeah. So it's okay, Molly. We love you.
Love hurts.
Justin's hanging tough. He's at 340 right now. Going strong. So I know you said that right now you guys are taking pre-orders. So give us we're triathletes. You know triathletes. They're impatient. They want the latest and greatest, and they want it yesterday. So when can we expect to see these actually going out onto the street for people to buy?
Good question. Great question. So where we're at right now, we're looking within probably the next couple weeks of shipping our first ones out. We are there. We're at that kind of that finish line. But the thing is there's so much more development that we want to do. There's so much. We have opened a huge can of worms for all of this. And kind of going back to the daily use cases. Like you said, what is the range? Well, we kind of got an idea based off the data sets that we have. Right. But what can you do with that data? Like, what does it mean to track your oxygenation? Who knows? There are people with theories, and there are a lot of really smart people that have really good theories, but nobody really knows. They just got ideas, and we think that it can be something to where you could develop that into a training methodology. You're training off of oxygenation, which unlike heart rate is a reflection of what has happened. Oxygenation is a reflection of what is happening, and so.
All right, Justin's calling for more. Mo power. Out of the saddle.
And so, with that is a whole new set of training protocol. Go out and I want you to do 1 mile repeats. And when your oxygenation levels reach 93%, start your next one. Instead of saying recover for 60 seconds. Okay. So that's your body actually getting back, ready to go again, and then you go again. Or
that's amazing.
It may teach you that you need less recovery time on certain days. You never know. And so it's wide open with that. But there's a lot that's going to be learned in the next 6 months about that stuff.
Right. Well, there's definitely a lot of really smart guys and gals at BSX that have been working on this. Like I said, I met them at Interbike. Really sharp individuals. They've obviously spent a lot of time and energy on this. I think this has been kind of under development for about 2.5 years.
Closer to like 3.5. I mean, it's been under development for a while. The actual, that's from the base planning. But I mean, it's been a solid 2 years of focused effort of this is what we're doing, this is how we're going to make it.
Right.
And it's taken a lot of not just our in-house people. We've got it's made in America, every part of it. So there's been a lot of people all over. You got engineers everywhere. We've got our entire development team. Our app development team, our web development team, software, firmware. I mean, you've got a doctor and a mathematician calling the shots at the head of the company. Yeah. There's a lot of talented people in this process.
Right. So, what will once the app is approved in the App Store? What will the app be called?
It'll be the BSX Insight. Yep, and that's actually what they're using now. They're using the actual app now. It's just on a different server, so that we can actually use it for testing and such.
Okay. So are they using the actual app right now, or is this a beta?
This is the actual app. This the last update come about 24 hours ago, and this is the latest and greatest that we have.
Okay.
So, which, as you know, with all technology, it's always evolving and changing, and so every time
Constant updates.
we're testing the crap out of this thing, honestly. And you'll find something, you'll fix it, test something, find something, fix it, so on and so forth. So
it looks like he's got about 30 seconds left on this level. Come on, come on, come on. You got this. You're on TV. He's at 360. He's at 360. It's a suffer selfie.
He'll appreciate this.
Get down here. There you go. Come on. Look at the camera. Come on. There you go. Come on.
380 watts.
Yeah, here we go. That's right. When in doubt, snap photos of people suffering.
Enjoy their suffering.
That's right. Justin's really starting to hurt. Here, one more. All right, he's at 380. He's got 1:45. If you're at home, cheer them on. Let's see if he can get to 400. Come on. Come on, a minute and a half. A minute and a half. Hold tight, hold tight. Come on, get to 400. He's at 380. 128 to go. You're doing good. You're doing good. He's 31 minutes in. He's really fighting. 110, 110. 110 to go. 107. Molly's cranking along. Let's see what Molly's at. She's 32:45 in. She's humming along right at 6-minute miles. Well, we want to thank everybody that's joined us today. Obviously, we probably only got another 2 or 3 minutes before they really start to crack here. So, again, we'll be broadcasting live tomorrow morning, probably about 10:30 a.m. We'll be broadcasting live again from Maverick Multisport Camp here in Louisville, Kentucky, with our 6 pros. We'll be doing a live bike fit with John Cobb. He's going to make it to the next level.
What they have to understand too is these are 2 elite level pros suffering right now for data, for knowledge, for power.
No, it's amazing. It's amazing. There he is. Nice job. Nice job. Wow.
Would you like to save your results, sir? I always like to give the option.
Yeah.
Would
you like to save those results?
So we're calculating.
Nicely done.
Yeah. It hurts, but it's good.
338.
All right.
So our threshold determination is 338. Training zones 1 through 7, listed out for you. So it's got it all. It's got it all right there for you. You hit done. It's going to go on your dashboard there. Over time, you'll start to see a graph come across there. The more of these you do. So
Cool. Love it.
338. That's
338. That's pretty solid for January. Yeah, no doubt. Hopefully, it's only going to go up from there, right? How is that fair? Where does that put him? On the people you've tested.
Almost.
Hold tight. She's about to wrap it up.
All right, focus in. You got 30 seconds.
Nice job, Molly.
20 seconds.
Just think, Molly, you didn't have to get your finger pricked, though. That's the good thing about this.
10 seconds.
Nice job, Molly.
5,
Nice job.
4, 3, 2, 1. Go ahead and back it off.
Nice job. Nice job, Molly. Hold tight. There you go. Stop. Straddle. You want me to stop it? Or did it stop?
I pressed that 6 times.
Okay. So, Jeremy's going to kind of go through the...
Would you like to save your threshold test?
So, assessment complete, it says. So, what's it doing now, Jeremy?
We're thinking.
Okay.
The Wi-Fi seems to be a little slow.
Well, it's because we're streaming off of... so, it's calculating the zones.
So this is the screen, and I'll show this screen. So it lists her as having no current threshold. Well, all that means is sometime during the test, either heart rate loss, connectivity, something kind of got a little skewed. And so anytime someone sees this, it gives them the instruction to call us. The data's still good.
Okay.
But if we throw a number up there, our system thinks, something's not quite right. We don't want to give you a number that's not accurate.
Right.
And so with this, you'll just say, okay, well, I don't have anything going here right now, but I'm gonna contact them.
Okay.
You give us a call. We'll pull your file. We can send you your file. Yeah, exactly.
Jeremy.
Yeah. Hey, it was fast.
It was awful.
LT is fast.
Yeah.
So from there, and that's just some error proofing we have in there, so that we don't want to give you a number that says something that was from years ago.
Oh, okay.
So we don't want to give you a number that isn't right.
Right.
So.
Okay. Is there like a helpline, or they just call in to the phone number?
1-800 no LT.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, you can contact us. I mean, there's multiple different ways. You can go to the website, call us.
Okay.
All that good stuff. So.
All right. Well, fair enough. Well, we're gonna let these two cool down,
Perhaps you should sit up.
rehydrate. They've obviously earned it. We got a big open event this evening from 6 to 9 p.m. here in Louisville, Kentucky at Molly Malone's in St. Matthews. It's open to the public. It's free. Feel free to join us. We'll have Jeremy Brown will be there from BSX. He's actually going to demo another lactate threshold test. One of our pros will be there going and suffering. Mike Hermanson will be doing that. John Cobb's going to be doing a live, just a bike fit kind of demo. Christy O'Hara from Motor Bike Components will be there.
Aren't you breakdancing?
I will be breakdancing. Absolutely. Absolutely. Slam dancing is what I like to do. I'm more of a slam dancer. Yeah, so,
I thought you were. I took
so anyway. But anyway, we want to thank you again. We want to thank BSX Insight for joining us today, coming to our camp, and we'll definitely look forward to seeing you guys again soon. Thanks for joining us. Take care.